Hi, how's it going? Good, yeah, I'm good too. My name is B. What's your name? Okay, Jamie, perfect. Well, good to meet you. We're going to be talking about connotations today. Have you ever heard of a connotation? Maybe once or twice in English class, yeah. The connotation of a word is the meaning of a word outside of its literal definition, right? So the literal definition is like if I open the dictionary, it's whatever's written there about that word. The connotation is meaning outside of that. So we don't find a connotation written in the dictionary. And the connotation is how that word makes us feel, what we think about that word when we're using it to talk about something. Okay, does that kind of make sense? Yeah. So to find the connotation of the word, we're going to ask ourselves two questions. The first question is going to be, how do I feel? Right? So when I hear this word, how do I feel about it? And then, what does this tell me? How do I feel, and what does this tell me? Okay, so let's try and find the connotation of the word curious. So if I say, Jamie is really curious, you're a very curious person, Jamie. How does that make you feel? Yeah, it makes you feel good, right? So what does that tell you about the word curious? Is it a good thing or a bad thing to be curious? Yeah, it tells you that it's a good thing to be curious, right? We know that being curious is a good thing because we feel good when we hear it. We know that it's good to be curious, even though if I open the dictionary, I'm not going to see it is a good thing to be curious written in the definition for curious, right? Now, what if I say, you're a very nosy person, Jamie? Jamie's very nosy, right? How does that make you feel? Not very good, right? So what does that tell you about the word nosy? Yeah, it tells you that it's not a good thing, right? Because we don't feel good when we're called nosy. So, curious and nosy, what's important to know here is they mean the same thing. Literally in the dictionary, they mean the same thing, where both being curious and being nosy just mean wanting to know more about something and having that attitude. But they make us feel differently. So we say that curious as a word has a positive connotation, positive meaning good, and nosy has a negative connotation. Okay, let's try one more example. And I'm going to write the words off to the side so that then we can put them back in place. So for example, let's start with let's do the words relaxed and lazy, right? So I want you to first ask yourself how you feel when you hear the word relaxed versus the word lazy. How do you feel about relaxed? We're feeling pretty good, right? How do we feel about the word lazy? Not so good. Yeah, not so good. So, where should I put relaxed? Positive or negative? Positive, yeah. We say that relaxed has a positive connotation because it makes us feel good, and that tells us that it's a positive thing. It's a positive word. What about lazy? We put that in the negative connotation spot. Yes, exactly. Lazy has a negative connotation, right? Final thing, just to wrap this up, what if I say tree? How does that make you feel? Yeah, we don't really feel any type of way, right? With the word tree, we're kind of in the middle. So what does that tell us about the word tree? It tells us pretty much nothing. It tells us that the word tree is very neutral, okay? So that gives us our final category, which is a neutral connotation, where it doesn't necessarily change how we feel or think about something if we hear it being called a tree. A neutral connotation doesn't necessarily do that. Whereas we learn more about the meaning of a word if we feel it has a positive connotation or a negative connotation. We don't learn more about the meaning of a word with a neutral connotation. Does that make sense? Awesome. All right. Sounds good. Any final questions? Perfect. Well, you have a great rest of your day, Jamie. Thanks for joining me.